Listen to this. In the book of Genesis, God gave Adam 7 gifts, okay? The first gift was creation. It was life. Fantastic. The second gift was a brain, essentially. It's dominion over all the beasts and everything, and gets to name them and give them title and give them purpose, right? The third gift is God's presence, right? Being around God, that presence of God, that was the third gift. You know what the fourth gift was? It wasn't Eve. The fourth gift that God gave Adam was work. Work. He said, cultivate your garden. Work involves becoming. Isn't that bananas? We're supposed to go out there and provide value. We're supposed to be of service in this world. We're supposed to cultivate our garden. How exciting is that? Because sometimes, we look at this and we're saying to ourselves, what do I have to do to be successful? But it's really, who do you have to be? Who do you know that is already successful, and what are they doing? How do you be more like the people that you really, you look at them and it is an example of the life that you want, the happiness that they want, the education, the expertise that somebody has, right? Work involves becoming. And I want to give you, we're going to be comping. We're going to go over all of the steps so that you can be a master at understanding the value of properties on the show today, okay? But I want to warm us up a little bit. I want to get that mindset going. I want to get all those beautiful chemicals in our brain flowing, right? So I want to give you 7 steps to having an unfair advantage when you're going out there to cultivate your garden, okay? Let's pop this up, Matt. Number 1. Woo, we're on fire. Number 1, a voracious openness to learn. Listen to me, you got to be hungry. If there's one thing, when you are starting this business, when you are growing this business, when you are hiring people, when you are really growing your net worth, all of these things, you have to be hungry. There has to be that burning fire inside your belly every single day to pick up that phone and to make an impact. Because that's what it is. That's our tool for communication, is our phone. But you got to be hungry. It's got to be something that you just know you're built differently, right? And then number 2 in this is you got to just do it. The more that you get stuck in paralysis by analysis, the slower it's going to be. Not only that, but if you can only do an hour a week, you're going to be 4 times slower than somebody that can do 4 hours a week. 15 times slower than somebody that can do it 15 hours a week. You got to just do it. You got to find the time. 168 hours every single week that we have the opportunity to make something, to do something, to provide value out there in the community, in the marketplace. Just do it. And number 3, I love this. This is an old Tony Robbins thing, and this is C-A-N-I. K-N-I, right? Constant and never-ending improvement. We're always learning. We're always reading. We're always talking to people that are doing amazing things. There is so much this world has to offer. We are constantly and never-ending improvement. By the way, guys, this comes straight out of this incredible book. This is called The Immigrant Edge. This is by Brian Buffini. He's a real estate agent coach, and these are 7 steps in this book. And I read this, and I thought it was perfect to start this comping session, all right, because it starts up here. All right, we need to have this unfair advantage. Number 2 is a do whatever it takes mindset. Perspective and remembrance. Isn't it funny that you look at, you're like, okay, I see what's going on here. I see my goals out here, but you don't remember what you were like a week ago, 30 days ago, a year ago, when you just read Rich Dad, Poor Dad for the first time, or Think and Grow Rich, or, some of these E-Myth book, all of these incredible business books, and you're putting all this incredible knowledge in, and you're moving incrementally closer to the goals that you have, right? Remember what you've done. Look back on it fondly. The best times that you're going to remember as a business person is going to be the most challenging times. Because real people, real winners as a business owner are made during the tough times, during that struggle, during that, can I do this? Am I doing the right thing? Can I be consistent? It's all in there. Remember that. Have perspective of that and stack the small wins. Understand that you're progressing. You're on the path. If you're going up this mountain, you are every single step is taking you closer. So remember that. Have pride in that. Understand that you're doing things that most people will never do. And never say die. Never say die. You run into roadblocks. You run into things that you don't have experience with. You run into things that you don't quite understand. You fail a little bit, right? You have people that are like, see, I told you. I told you not to get into real estate. I told you should just be a teacher. I told you should stay in the military. I told you should still stick, behind that driver's wheel of that truck that you're driving. I told you to keep being a nurse, right? I told you, don't take that risk. Don't take that risk of being a real estate entrepreneur. But you got to block all that out. You got to block all of it out. Never say die, because there's a famous quote that's like, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you attempt to do? It's whatever we want. God gave us a brain on the second gift, right? We can do whatever we want. We can make what we want. Never say die. And there's no such thing as failure. It's just experience. Work involves becoming. If you're not where you want to be, it's because you're not who you should be. Work becomes becoming. Work involves becoming. So you got to work at this. It takes time. There's work. And every time that you fail, you know what you're not supposed to do. And you keep moving. Number 3, a willingness to outwork others. I am telling you guys, this, I love this, because I have students that English is their second language. They live in a different country, right? And they're still doing deals. They're still building $1 million businesses. They're still doing incredible things. They're fixing and flipping. They're building an incredible rental portfolio. They're wholesaling 5, 10 deals every single month, because it's work. They're cultivating their garden. Going. Work. It's all energy. It's all effort. It's all putting that in. You become a magnet when you do that. Success comes to you like a magnet. People come to you like a magnet, right? If you have that energy and you're putting through that effort, the energy and effort, I'm telling you, you match that with your hunger and you're on fire. You're unstoppable. It's incredible. And remember the law of the harvest. You reap what you sow. So as you're making those calls, as you're sending out those text messages, as you're driving for dollars, all of that is planting seeds. All of those conversations, the more conversations you have, the more seeds you're planting. The more people you talk to, about 10% of them are going to be leads. That's somebody that actually is going to sell their property, and you're planting seeds, because it doesn't usually happen today. It happens in 30 days, happens in 60 days, 90 days, a year, 2 years from now. You're planting seeds. That's the lead follow-up part of this business. That's the making sure that as you're going out there hunting for the opportunities and initiating these conversations, boom, here it comes, number 2, and that is the harvest. You're planting the seed. You're doing the lead follow-up. Lead generation to lead follow-up. That's number 2. And a sense of urgency. Woo! This one's challenging. This one's real challenging, because this is a slippery slope, right? You have that, you get going, right? You have a goal in mind, and you are going, and you are going, and you are going. Can you keep up that sense of urgency? Can you keep up that confidence? Can you surround yourself with the right people that are going to be your cheerleaders and support you? And keep that sense of urgency and be able to live in that space. That's where entrepreneurs thrive. That sense, I got to go out there and provide value every single day. I got to do it right now. Sense of urgency. It's so important and so challenging. Number 4, heartfelt spirit of gratitude. All of that stuff's great, right? I'm going high energy. I'm going like, yeah, right? And then you get that gratitude part. That's that like joy part, right? You know what I mean? Like that happiness, that fight, that struggle, that going, that work, cultivating your garden, that's fantastic. And taking the time to have gratitude surrounding all of that work, that's where positivity comes from. That's where optimism comes from. That's from being grounded in actual reality and not living in the hallucinations that we put into our head. Gratitude is not only the greatest virtue, which I didn't even know what virtue meant, to be honest. I really did. I had to look it up. It means high morals. But the parent of all the others. This was said by Cicero 2,000 years ago, right? Gratitude is not only the greatest of the virtues, but the parent of all others. And be grateful to the core. Like literally, be grateful. This, when I was reading this and I was thinking about this and I was like putting this presentation together, I was reminded when I was in Tulum, and it's this beautiful. I was in this beautiful resort. I'm with my wife. The sun's shining. There's clouds. There's lizards. There's a beautiful beach. The wind is blowing in my face. That's fantastic. And I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying it. And all of a sudden I hear a cricket. Burp, burp. Burp, burp. And it's going off. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm spending all this money and I can't even get some peace and quiet because of this cricket? Like, how silly is that? Like, I have all of these great things, but that one thing that's just chirping in the back of my head is going to live rent-free? There's no way. There's no way. I had to catch myself right there. And oftentimes we do. We're all human. You know what I mean? But being grateful all the time, being grateful to the core, making it part of us, right? Not just sometimes, not just when we think about it, not just when things are going great, not just when we have 300,000 in our bank account, that type of thing. All the time. Because we can't have all those things unless we put a shell around all of our work, which is gratitude. All right? And it's an attitude. It's a magnet. It's the way gratitude is the attitude. You go out there with that shell of an amazing attitude. And again, like I said, you become a magnet. People want to be around you. Right? Number 5, a boldness to invest. Invest in yourself. Right? Don't shut out all the other things. Put the blinders on. Invest in yourself. Comparison is the thief of joy. And the worst comparison that we all do this, is comparing where we think we should already be. Invest in yourself. Invest in your work. Cultivate your garden. There's a Proverbs that basically says your work works on you more than you work on it. And you could skip the line. Invest in yourself. Invest in your education. Invest in your experience. Go find somebody that is where you want to be and go be around that person, whether that's a coach, whether that's a mentor, whether that's a family member, whatever it is. But invest in yourself. Your work works on you more than you work on it. And you skip the front of the line. When you find somebody that's where you're at, you skip the front of the line because they show you the path. You could just walk up this mountain if you want, but it's a lot easier if you go this way. And watch out for this trap, and watch out for that trap, and watch out for this. That's being a business owner. That's being a business person. Skip the front of the line. I mean, listen, if I'm going to Disney next month, and the only thing that I ask my wife is, we better get that fast pass. I'm not waiting in that line. I do not want to wait in the line. That's just my personality. I don't want to be sitting there for 45 minutes to enjoy 3 minutes of some ride or something, right? I want to skip right to the front. That's what having a mentor, coach, somebody that's already there. Remember, everything you want is already in somebody else's mind. Questions are the pickaxe to get at that. That's a Tim Ferriss quote. I love it. And invest in others. You got to invest in your people. Who's the 5 people that you spend the most time with? Who's the people that challenge you? Who's the people that encourage you? Who's on your personal board of directors? Good question. Number 6. A commitment to delay gratification. Sacrifice. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. Les Brown, he's been saying that for 30 years. Sacrifice. Sacrifice the time. Sacrifice all the entertainment that you want in the rest of your time. Well, Brent, I work 40 hours a week. Great, there's 168. Well, I need sleep. Okay, sleep 8 hours a day. That's 56 hours. We're at 96 hours. You've got 70 hours to do stuff. What are you going to do? Right? Most people fill that with entertainment or just kind of laying around. Let's be honest. Thinking, daydreaming, hallucinating. How about just put that time into work? How about delaying all of that entertainment and all of the things that you want to get caught up on because society talks about it and just push that off to the side while you're in your hustle season? Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the prize. There's levels to this game. Stay focused. When we start out, you focus on finding an ugly house and getting big checks. Ugly house, big checks. And then you can start, once you start building up the machine that's constantly finding you discounted properties, then you start elevating it. Then you start going, right? You start building out your team. You start looking at different opportunities in the real estate industry. But it starts with finding discounted properties, so stay focused and understand the compound effect. The compound effect. Small decisions, smart choices. I'm telling you, that's it. Just being consistent all the time, doing the repetitious boredom, living in that space, making calls day after day after day after day, getting rejected day after day after day after day, calling and talking to real estate agents, building a network day after day after day after day. Small, smart choices. And the last one here, guys, and then we'll get into comping, and I'll get off this soapbox of mindset. But that's it. Number 7, an appreciation where you came from. 1 in 400 trillion. Look it up. That's the odds that you're a human. 1 in 400 trillion. That's bananas. It's a miracle. Every person on earth is a miracle. It's crazy. Well, miracles happen a million times a day or whatever. Great. And still, 1 in 400 trillion that you're here. Have some perspective. Holding on and letting go, right? Hold on to the family, faith, and humor. Get rid of the fear, bitterness, and people living rent-free in your brain, right? Who's living rent-free in your brain that you need to evict? Seriously. Who's living there that you're just like, is it somebody from high school made you mad, beat you up, dumped you? Is it somebody that did, screwed you over on a business deal? Is it somebody that you thought was going to be your mentor and then they didn't give you anything? Evict them. Get them out of your brain. It's too much. It's taking up too much space. It's not productive. Not only that, it stops you from providing service to the community. Kick them out. Evict them. And put your name on it. You ever thought about that? Putting your name on the day? If you had to sign something and you had to put your signature on whether or not you did what you were supposed to do that day, how often do you sign your name? Right? How often are you signing your name on the day? Because we can only control today. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. Yesterday's gone. So we got today. So at the end of the day, do you have enough pride in knowing that you took enough actions based on the goals that you have to sign your name off on that day? Woo! You feeling it? Yes. Good. There it is, guys. I hope that you took some pictures of that. We'll put that all in a download. That'll be in TTP Insider so that you can print it out and you can have it posted and just be reminded of it. But that is the 7 steps to an unfair advantage when it comes to cultivating your garden, when it comes to your work, when it comes to your business. Okay? Now, we put out a challenge on Instagram yesterday, and it was to comp a property in Cincinnati. I randomly picked a property. It was nothing. I literally just went, you know what? Where don't we talk about? Cincinnati seemed like the place, and we're going to comp it. By the way, if you're getting value out of this, guys, it really helps the channel if you hit the like button. Would love to have 200-300 likes on this show. It really just, when you hit it, it exposes it to more people. More people that come in, the more you get to squat up. The more you get to squat up, the more money you make. So make yourself some money. Hit that like button. Boom! See how I did that? All right, good. All right, here's the property. I put it out there for everybody. 1421 Teakwood Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay, this is not a property that was from a student. This is not somebody that DM'd me, helped me comp. This is literally, I pulled this at random. Now, we put a challenge out to see who is going to get the closest to my valuation on this, and then I'm going to break down and show what you should offer on a property like this, because I think that's the missing link of this whole process. Okay, so before I do that, the winner of this is going to win this sweet box, this sweet swag box here, and it's filled with all the goodies. Look at this. Yes, look at that. Ugly House's Big Checks. Yes, this is a package that my students get or are starting to get as of this week. So if you haven't gotten one, you're getting one. It's got a hat. It's got the daily tracker. It's got the lead sheet. It's got a shirt. It's got a hoodie. It's got it all.
This is my box.
So as we are comping this, as you're coming up with valuation on this, then we'll get you a new hat, not the one that Raphael's putting on his head right now. If you get the closest, we'll send this over to you, and you will win. So make sure you put in what you think the ARV, the after repair, beautiful, the top value that this property would go for. Okay? Now, before we get into it, let's go over again, which we've done a few times on here, the 7 steps to comping a property. All right, and we're going to go through each and every one of these steps so that you can really get good and have the principles behind finding the valuation of these properties. So if you'll pop that up, there we are. Steps to comping: location. First, you start neighborhood, then half mile, then 1 mile. Take a picture of this, guys, if you've never seen it. Number 2 is timeline. When did those comparables sell? 3 months, within 3 months is the best. 6 months is if you have to, and 1 year if you have to extend out, if you have to time travel. The age of the property is plus or minus 15 years. I would start that in like 1950. If it's below 1950, you could probably pretty much all clump them together. There's some historic properties that you probably want to only comp with historic properties. But for the most part, in a lot of areas, there's kind of a hodgepodge. There's kind of a mixture of different times that these properties were built. All right. So, but if it's above 1950, which a lot of these properties are, plus or minus 15 years, that's what appraisers are looking at when they're doing their valuations. Okay. Size, plus or minus 15%. That's your bread and butter. That's where you want to live. Okay. Whenever an appraiser is doing a valuation, and the reason I bring up an appraiser is not because of the deals we do. We go in with a cash offer. Appraiser doesn't even figure into the mix here. Right. But at some point, these properties are going to be owned by somebody that's going to live in there, or they're going to get conventional financing as a portfolio property as an investor, and so they get appraisals, right? So this is what the appraisal standards are that they go through. Okay, floor plan. This is critical, and this is the one that screws everybody up because floor plans matter. There is a big difference between a 1900 floor plan and a 2000 floor plan. Can we all agree on that? Let's all like shake our head. I can't see you, but I can imagine everybody's shaking their head, right? Floor plans matter. And some people love the charm of a historic house. I do. Some people love the charm of a box house where it's just like a storage, you know, like one of those storage container houses or something. You know what I mean? It's all different. So you got to make sure that you're finding similar floor plans. All right, similar floor plans. And the easiest way to do that is 1-story houses or with 1-story houses, 2-story, 2-story, multifamily with multifamily condo towns. You get it, okay? Condition: how much will it take to renovate that property? And potential. This is the toughest one, and this is why we build up our cash buyer database, and this is why we connect with a lot of different investors with a lot of different strategies, is because some person can look at that. I could look at a deal and I see that it's worth $300,000, but Raphael could look at that deal and know that he can add a guest house onto that or do something creative and get, you know, $400 for that same property. So it matters to understand that. You will get that. That'll be the last piece. That's the hardest one to work on.
We have one question about this.
We have one question about this, okay? No, Darren. Plus or minus 15%, not 5. 5 is way too small of a box. Yeah, they'll go 15% on appraisal rules. All right? There you go. All right, good. Let's jump into this. I hope I gave people enough time to start putting in their comping. We're locking in now. All right, here we go. We're going to get into this. First thing I like to do, I mean, obviously we're going to get into the details here, but remember the first thing I like to do is get into the picture here. You know, I want to see from an aerial standpoint, where's the location? Now, this is great. It's not on a major street. I don't see a railroad behind the house. I don't see a highway. It's kind of a traditional right in the middle of the neighborhood. All right. The next thing I want to do is I want to take a look at what's the vibe of this house. What's going on? Does this thing have some wear and tear? Is it a property that needs a lot of love? Is the landscaping getting taken care of, or is it pretty rough? This to me looks like somebody has a lot of pride in this house, a lot of love. Look, the landscaping is done. Now, the stump could get removed, but that takes a while. The roof looks a little bit older. Okay, so I know because I have PropStream here, that this, and by the way, you can use PropStream, you can use batch leads, whatever you prefer. Just make sure you use the coupon code TTP so that you can get in there, or go to ttpdata.com. But this right here, owner status, non-owner occupied. So what does that tell us about this property? Is there more or less emotions attached to this property than if they owned it and lived in it? Less, typically. Usually. 99.999% of the time, a rental property will have less. Now let's look at this. I got 4 beds, 1 bath. I got 1,400 square feet. It's 9,100 square feet. Now, going back to this, we're looking at it, and I want to see, is this 1 story? Is this 2 story? What's going on here, right? And it has it in the data there, but I just want to make sure, I want to verify, right? I see 1 stories, maybe a little 2 story here, right? It just depends. This is a 4 bed, 2 bath, so it could be a 2 story going in here. Boom. We got a 2 story. We got some livable space up here. All right. So now we got to compare that with other 2 stories. Okay. Now we're going comparable. Beautiful. Look at this, by the way. It's a vacant property for 15 years. If you live in Cincinnati or you do virtual wholesaling, perhaps you should talk to this property owner. Okay. Here we go. Comparables. Oh, God, I love this. It makes it so easy. Okay, so I'm going to do this 2 ways, guys. I'm going to use PropStream, and then I'm going to do this for a free resource, which is looking at Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com, taking those 3 values, dividing by 3, and coming up, and we'll see how close we get. But look at this. Look at this. Okay, number 1 here, you've got a property that sold about 6 months ago for $155, 1,400 square feet, 4 bed, 1.5, 1,300, 7,900 square feet. Are you kidding me? We're right in the ballpark here. What do you think, Raph?
Yeah,
1,500. It's right there. We're looking good. Okay, but then you've got number 3 here, which is right by the park or the school here. And this one went for $138, but it's a 3-2. It's a bigger house, 138, 3-2, 1,500 square feet. And what I want to do here is I want to look and see what's going on here. Why did this one sell for 138? Basic, basic, basic. Okay. I mean, this is just it's a livable house, but it's a very basic house.
It's very outdated.
Okay. So, but it's very similar, right? And this one for 138, this is saying it's got a valuation of 170, but it's bigger, right?
What was the sale date on that?
This one was a year ago.
A year ago.
Yeah, so we know that things are popping off. But look at some of these other ones here. You've got a 220. You got a 229. Where is number 5 here? Is it in the same area?
No, it's a little further
Where
out.
are we? Where's number 5? There it is. It's right there, though.
Yeah.
We're right here.
It's
So what's
still
going
in there.
what's going on with this 299? Right? Woo!
Check
This is
out.
looking nice. Look at the difference here. Nice. This is literally double what the other ones went for, right?
Yeah, it's
1324 square feet. Looks nice. Right down the street. 3 bed, 2 bath. Let's look at this yard. Fantastic. You see how like design elements really get you higher value? It's incredible for anybody out there that's going to be flipping in their future. I am telling you, number one, have a woman designer. I'm just saying you're going to get more money. And 2, make sure that you put in some really creative ideas. Does this one have a garage?
The one you were just looking at has a garage. Does our one work?
That one has a garage, and ours looks like it's in the back there. Yeah, it looks like there's probably one in the back. So you've got a 299 here and a 155 in the similar. Now, what I'm going to do is, because this one's in this neighborhood, let me see one last thing here that I'm going to do. 1927, 1951. So this one's going to have a little bit more of a historic charm to it. Remember I said that 1950 thing? So it's not in that 15 years. So that makes me want to know, okay, what's going on with this teakwood? Is there any other pictures of this that are online that I can simply Google and see what is going on with this property? Okay, so we're going here. Off market. It's still got it at 150. It looks clean, but it's kind of like, you know, it's pretty cookie cutter. Let's see if Zillow has anything on this comp. Nothing. So this is a private sale. Oh, it went 155 in on 11. Yeah, we knew that. Okay, good. So now we've got a big range here. We've got 300 and we've got 155, right?
Estimate. Did you see that? It's 135 for this property, but we have comps in the 200s.
Right.
So, yeah, it's crazy.
So let's take a look. Come on, people. Boom. Zillow has Teakwood, this one at... Oh, hold on. This mouse is being silly. Daniel? Like your mouse is bananas, dude.
Daniel.
I got it.
Okay. 191,700. Boom. That's Zillow on that. Incredible. So we've got 155. We've got 300. And we've got Zillow at 190, right? So looking at this, I want to really understand what's going on in the neighborhood, because I want to see if this neighborhood is different than the one that that has the property at 300,000. So look at this neighborhood: 97,000, 94,000, 50, 180. Well, this is getting late now. Yeah, but that was 18, right? And it was a huge house. Yeah. So you've got 97,000 at 1,100 square feet. I'm putting this at a valuation of 200,000. 200,000.
Yeah,
200,000. Who's got 200,000? Who's the winner of the comping? Okay. So you've got Zillow here. Let's go back here. You got Redfin. That has it at 160.
Got it.
Interesting. And then you've got hold on. This thing is just doing that. Realtor.com. There we go. Boom, 160. So I think they're a little bit off. I think 200 cleaned up, looking perfect, is the right price for this property. And this sold for $68.5.
Who's this guy?
Matt Berry!
Boom!
Boom! My man! So real quick, let's go over this, and then we're going to break this open. Guys, we're here for another 86 minutes, and this is a show of question and answers. The show only happens with your participation, so make sure you're putting any questions in the comments, anything that is a mystery about finding valuation. I want to celebrate any wins that you had, whether you went on your first appointment, whether you locked up your first deal. I want to know the people that are watching this show that have closed the deal, and be brave, put it on here, let everybody know so that people know that you're the person that they should squad up with in your area. Okay? 85 minutes left. So make sure that you're putting your comments and your questions in there. But before I do, let's look at this real quick. So this is 1,400 square feet. Matt, will you put up my estimated repair cost? Okay. So this is 1,400 square feet. So this is under that 1,500 square feet technically. I think that this one is probably needs work because it's dated just based on the roof. We don't know any other information, so I'm going to go with 35,000. All right. So we've got ARV equals 200,000. Are you good? Can you see me here? Okay. And then right off the bat, we're going to take off 6%. All All right, get 6% out of there. 200,000 times 0.94 is, that's 12,188. All right. Minus the profit, minimum profit on these deals is 20,000, and so you can use the 10% rule. If it's above 200,000, it's 10%. If it's below, an investor wants to walk in with 20,000 in equity or in profit from these deals. All right, that's going to be a minimum standard. They don't want to get in and go, oh yeah, I'm going to buy a house for 100,000 and make 10,000 on it. It's too tight. One mistake, one thing that you didn't know about the foundation can screw up that deal 100%. So you've got that. You've taken the 6%, and this is for closing cost, holding fees, title and escrow fees. Okay, that's your 6%. Here you're going to go profit minus 20,000. That's the minimum, which is perfect because it's 10% of this. So we're at 168, right? And then you got 35,000 off of that, right? So you got the repair costs minus 35,000. That takes us down to 133,000, and that is the wholesale price. So I like making a minimum standard of 20,000. You could go 15, you could go 10, whatever it is. But let's just say 20,000 on there is how much you want to make on this deal, right? So your offer, your max allowable offer is 113 for a 200,000 property. Okay? Good? Awesome? Awesome. There you go. There we go. Rath, what was the, let me ask you this. What do you think is, because you've coached a lot of people, you're teaching a lot of processes, you're teaching a lot of people how to be real professionals. What do you think is the biggest challenge that you've seen people have when they are trying to find the valuation of the property?
Data is going to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just getting they get too stuck on getting the exact price. Right. One thing that I push is that we're not appraisers. We're not going for that, details on the linear square footage of the fence and how much that is going to cost, because I've seen that in coaching.
Sure.
But it's having a well-rounded, decent number where we can just leverage off of. And the way that you just broke it down right now, it's perfect. It makes perfect sense, right? But I think it's one of the biggest things. People get caught up in the details and want to be too exact about the purchase price. And I mean, when you're looking at volume and you're comping 20 properties a day, that's an issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is interesting, guys. And I'm just looking back in this. Raf, do you have your calculator or Alejandro?
Yeah.
So if you did this if you didn't have PropStream to look at some of these comps, you have a couple options. Okay. Simple options, but you have a couple options. So, you can Google the address, go to Zillow, Realtor.com, and Redfin. Take all of those numbers that they have, add them up, divide by 3. The issue with that is it is a computer doing these valuations. It's not a human looking at individual specific comps. Okay? Give me a 161,600 plus 191,700 plus 171 divided by 3. What's the average price for that?
123,400.
No, that's impossible.
123,000 for what the hell did I do? I think I multiplied.
161 plus 191 plus 171.
191 plus 171
plus 161
divided by 3. 174, my bad.
174.
174.3. Yeah.
See how the difference, guys? Listen, I am telling you, you run your numbers and you think that this is 174, is 174 to 200. Yeah. So you're going to go into that deal with 25,000 less. You're going to go in and probably offer 80,000 on that deal as opposed to 113, and somebody could come in at 113 and beat you out. So having the right tools is really, really, really important so that you can have an insider look. The second way that you can do it, if you just want to do that for free, you could lock it up for 80, you know, if that's what they would take on it, right? But you've got a range there. But the second way to do it is simply call up a real estate agent or have a real estate agent that knows that area and say, hey, listen, I'm interested. I'm buying this property. I'm in the process of buying this property. I'm in the process of buying every property, right? Mentally. So I'm in the process. I'm not lying. I'm in the process of buying this property. If it's totally fixed up, you seem like the area expert. What does this house sell for if it is pristine? That's the conversation you have. And have it with 2, 3, 4, 5 agents. It's a few phone calls. You're getting incredible market knowledge on this area where now you can pinpoint specific neighborhoods and areas because you know the price points of what they will sell at once they're totally fixed up. So you could know nothing. Like comping should be the last thing that you're worried about. Like valuation's important, but you could literally find out valuation with 5 phone calls to real estate agents that work in that zip code. You go to realtor.com, you put in that zip code, and it comes up with a ton of agents. It really does. So if somebody will do that in the back scenes, just go to realtor.com, put in the zip code of this property, 45224, and let's find some agents to call on that. And that's what you would do to get a great valuation on that property. All right? Awesome. So let's crack this thing open. Do we have some questions? Do we have some comments? Do we have some successes? What do we got? I feel like this thing is like like a crazy little microphone deal. Yeah. So let's rock and roll. Let's open this thing up. If you don't have the expertise, leverage other people's expertise. Okay? And congratulations, Matt Berry. Matt, all right. Matt Berry, getting the package. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Can somebody hand me that? I want to put that up here just so that Matt can look at it and just know that he wins. Awesome. Was he the only one that said 200?
200 right on the dot.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, there's more people that.
Huh?
Only got one winner today.
All right. There you go, Matt. Look at this good stuff. Yes.
He was like the 10, 15th comment.
10, 15th comment. That's awesome. Matt, that away.
The
I
first
love
200.
it. I love it. All right, let's put some questions on the board. What are we doing here? Okay, great. Pick one. Let's get going. What is 6% cap rate? I missed it. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, that's not. Okay, let's go back to the board.
I was like, can you like move that? Because I feel like we clipped it too short. And people are asking, can we see the chart again?
Can they move the camera?
Oh, to see the board?
Yeah, to see the board. People want to see it again.
All right, so right here, the 6% is closing costs, not cap rate. So this is title and escrow fees. This is some holding costs if you have to get like some transactional funding if you're going to actually close on it. Sorry guys, this thing that we spent a ton of money on isn't working, so we got to figure out that board. So we got this silly thing. Anyway, yeah, that's what the 6%. It's not cap rate. It is the closing costs. Okay, that's the question. Awesome.
Internet.
It's just slow. Okay, what's the question? Sorry, guys. We on Wednesdays the whole office is filled, and so the internet, the Wi-Fi is getting up. So, can you post updated repair chart? It already is a ratio. A ratio. We already updated that. This is the updated chart, brother. So there you go. We added 10,000 to all the numbers that we originally had because of inflation. Essentially, inflation and labor costs and everything. So there you go.
Why is the address 1568 Reed Avenue not the best comp with the ARV at 227 square feet?
Okay, Beth asked, why is, let's see, 1568 Reed? I don't see it. Do you guys see it? I'm looking, oh, sorry, neighbors here, comparables. Let's take a look. 1568 Reed right here, 299. It's not the best comp because it was built in 1927. This was built in 1951. So remember that 15-year plus or minus after 1950. Yeah, that's why I wouldn't use that comp. I mean, it's close, but you're talking 3 decades of difference there, and I have a feeling that this property, not a feeling. I mean, it's pretty obvious that this is a different builder. It's just a different charm to it. It's a different vibe to it. It just looks fantastic. You could make an argument for sure. You're not wrong. You can make an argument, but that's why I would check with a real estate agent in this area, because when you have 300, Beth, and you have 150, that's double the price. What's going on with that property? Is it just is it just that neighborhood? Is it the construction? Is it the layout? What's going on here, right? Is it just, is more of the bedrooms in the other property upstairs, and this is just like a loft type of thing? But it's a legitimate question, Beth, and I love that you asked that. But it's 27 to 51. Go ahead.
One thing that happens also on comps quite a bit, especially in just, I mean, we don't have it so much in our market, but it happens a lot everywhere else, is basements. So sometimes you'll have a basement. People are willing to pay more, even though it's not factored into the living square footage, but they're willing to pay more for the property, so that'll have an impact. So some, you'll see it on there in the description. Just go in there and then find out if it's got a basement, or when it comes to just kind of finding out those details of why the price point discrepancy is so big.
Yeah, love it. Do you disagree with Jamil's formula using percentage of ARV for your market? No, I mean we've been teaching that since 2017, bro. 60. Can we pull that up? The 66, 50, 25%. Jamil just has incredible data from around each area based on, it's essentially the value, but he's got very specific market. So I don't disagree with Jamil at all. I think we're saying the same thing, just in a different language, maybe. 250,000 or more, we offer 66. 249 to 100, 50%, and if it's less than 100,000, offer 25%. And that's the quick way to understand if you've got somebody that's reasonable if the property is in rough condition. Now, you hit somebody with 66% that's got a beautiful property, they're going to laugh you off. But if you're targeting and you're going after, and your lists are all about properties that are in distressed situations from a condition standpoint, somebody needs to put capital into it. Somebody needs to put the money into it, right? So, no, I don't disagree at all. It's the same thing. This is the breakdown that I did on the board is just very, very, very specific, and that's what we go through every time that we evaluate a property for the deals that we do. And this keeps us really, really disciplined. And, this year we're over 70,000 a deal. It's crazy. But some of those are flips and hedge fund stuff and whatever. But wholesale, we're over 40. Just pure assignment, 40. Yep. And he has a great show, straight out of Compton. Contract season worldwide. The 200K was based on the street since everything else around it was higher. Not everything around it was higher. But, yeah, essentially. I'm looking at the comparables in the actual neighborhood first, because that's what an appraiser is going to do. So you've got some of them over here that are a little bit higher, but then the ones directly in the neighborhood are 138 and 155. So that's telling me something. That's telling me that, something is going on here. Something is making a difference here, right? These properties right here are 155 and 138, right? Why did this happen? And this one over here went for 300,000. So whenever there's a discrepancy that much, you have to reach out to a real estate agent, just understand what they would list it for and get some opinions. Okay? There you go. But I'm looking right here. This is what everybody's going to look at. And maybe there's more potential there. That's why you would talk to a real estate agent and get an idea. Andres, Brent, what if you have a house that's sold on the MLS that was sold as a fix and flip opportunity, not renovated? Can you use that number as a max allowable offer? Yeah, that's great. I mean, it just depends on Andres, you're gonna want to know what the strategy is with the person that bought it. Are they buying it just to kind of clean it up and put it into their portfolio? And they bought it for a little bit higher of a price because it made sense from a cash flow standpoint? Or is this somebody that's going to go and totally renovate a property and make it, and resell it to flip it? So really you're looking at, once it's on the market and flipped versus what it sold for on the market before it was flipped is really going to help you out. And that's how you dig into the data, which is exciting. What do you think, Araf?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's you got to look at this, a couple of things, right? Strategy. Of course, if you can lock it below that, you always shoot for that, kind of stuff. But at least what the market cap is. One thing that's also good to take into account is what's listed, right? What's available? What are the properties that are actually selling right now in the moment they're active? And that's going to give you a threshold of where the values are headed into. Doesn't mean that they're going to get locked and purchased at that price, but you have some type of direction too.
And by the way, guys, just as a side note here, and this is the only one that I really see, and this would be interesting to take a look at, but look at this. 1928 in the twos, 1934 twos, 1927 twos, 1961, this one went on 269, 29, 29, 27, 29, boom, 50, 51. Interesting. What's going on with this guy would be an interesting conversation as well. Oh, totally different floor plan. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Great questions. Guys, pick this apart. I don't want there to be any mystery here. Same neighborhood, but there are pockets of town that are higher value. Eden, there you go. That's right. I mean, I'm telling you, this is every part of town. There are parts in Phoenix where, literally, a property that is one street behind will go for $100,000 more than a property on the next street over. I mean, you got to really understand what's going on. What are the closest comps? And fortunately, there were sales in this area that showed us. So make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, make sure that you do subscribe to the channel. We come out with incredible instruction every single day. Action items, not just fluff, not just things to grab your attention and tell you about current events and all these other things, but real life instruction so that you can go out there and get deals. We cut through all of the fat. We cut through all of the BS just so that you know exactly what actions to take every single day. As a side note, though, let's make sure we put up this graphic. You guys want to understand what's going on with the real estate market? Here's a perfect picture to explain it, and we've talked about it a lot in this channel. And don't put my face up in the corner yet, Matt, because this is really, really, really important. Look at what's happened since 1950 to 2009. 20 million homes have been built plus through all of those decades. Look at 2010 to 2019. The economic crash destroyed home building. Absolutely destroyed it. And as it was coming back with the fury and it's sprinting and it's going bananas, bump, 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 worldwide pandemic, right? So, yeah, it's going to be shortage. There's just more people. There's more humans. There's more money. Less houses. So if there's less of something and everybody wants that something, not only wants it, but needs it on some level, prices are going to go bananas. Well, this is ridiculous. This is a bubble. It's not a bubble. It's a boom. That's what that's called. It's a boom. When there is lack of inventory and there is significant demand, that's when booms happen. That's it. And right now, interest rates, I mean, go check out interest rates in the late 70s and early 80s. Go check those out, right? 21%. We're at 4. People are like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
It's an abomination.
How can I'm supposed to spend $100 more a month? We're in a great position, guys. When comping a property and there are no sold ones available, but there is a pending one that is a model match, yes, 1,000%, Jason. Listen, when I was trained as a real estate agent, as they look at these things, and they would bring in appraisers all the time. I've probably sat in front of a dozen appraisers going through this, right? And they go, okay, well, listen, the best comps to show is pending, because that shows what's happening right now. But until you know what exactly it closes for, you can only see what it was listed for and pending. And what it was listed for is typically pretty close to what it pending's at, what it sells for. It's about 97% in most markets. You can check it out. You can do listing to sold price. Okay, pending to sold price. You can Google those type of things in your market and find that out. But it's a great indication of what's happening right now. And it's especially beneficial if you're in a hot market, which I know you are, Jason, in the Bay Area. If you see something that all of a sudden one went, $2 million and the rest of the neighborhood's at 1.5, that neighborhood just took a step up. Or if you're in Cincinnati and you see, all right, they got 250 and all these other ones went 200, they're taking a step up. We're pushing values on these things, especially with hedge funds buying and Open Door and the iBuyers. They set their prices high. They get cash back at the closing because they buy them cash, but it sets the markup high, and it affects all sorts of things. It affects the tax. It affects the comps. It affects everything. So.
In scenarios like that, just do what appraisers do. We get calls from appraisers all the time. Hey, I see this property's pending. What's the actual price, right? So just call up the agent that has the listing on that, and then sometimes they'll share the info with you.
Do you guys feel like something's missing from the show? You know what I think's missing?
A bell.
I've not rang that bell this whole time.
A bell.
People,
we need a bell.
I need to ring this bell. I need your help.
We need somebody.
If you have done something special in your business over the last week, if you've closed a deal, if you've done something, I need to ring this bell.
We have some.
All right. Oh, we got some.
Brent will lose his mind.
But
I know you're getting questions. I know. I love where you're going. I love that we're staying on topic, but I also love ringing that bell. All right, Scott and Liz. Welcome to the show. Is ARV after repair value or average retail value? I've heard both, and I'm confused. After repair value. After repair. Because what you're looking for, really, Scott and Liz, is you're looking for, okay, what's the highest that this property could sell for if it's beautiful? Okay? And that helps you understand the potential. And in real estate investing, that is how you level up into exciting and new and bigger deals and bigger opportunities, is understanding and expanding your potential. So if I know that the potential, the max potential of this property is $200,000, then I can start making decisions on what strategy I need to use in my negotiations with that property owner. What if that property owner wanted $200,000? Right? What if they wanted $200,000? And you go, well, I can't give you retail. It still needs work. I need to there needs to be enough profit in there for me to do this business, right? And so I need to get it much less, or I need to do this in payments, right? And payments, creative financing, there's a lot of technicalities to it, but you can kind of boil it down to down payment, monthly payment, and how long you make those payments, right? That's really the main three things there. But if you know that the max on this thing, then you can start adjusting your strategies. I'm kind of going off on a tangent there because I've been really thinking about how to make every lead work, like we talked about a couple weeks ago on the show. But listen, when it comes to negotiating, it's either price or terms. Do they want that cash offer fast? It's going to be less. Do they want over retail value? Great. I'll give you 60% of what I can get for rent and no down payment, hopefully, or maybe something little, and we'll do this for the next 10 years, and then we'll do a balloon payment at the end, right? You don't have to overcomplicate this. 37K January, 32K February, 29K March, all done in Baltimore? Ooh. Maryland, thanks to you at Brent. Well, listen, Real Estate B, first of all, it is all thanks to you. You put in that hard work. You provided what looks like $100,000 worth of value into Baltimore in the first quarter of this year. You're on the path to go $400,000, which puts you in the top 1% income earners in the country, running for on the planet. So, yes, I will celebrate you 100%. Here we go. Yeah.
Let's go,
we switched up the angle of this so that I could scoot back further and not destroy the microphones with the bell. But yeah, that is congratulations. That is a huge congratulations, Real Estate B. Fantastic. Boom. Tegan just locked one up today for a 10K spread in Cape Coral. I'm going back. He's going back. Here we go. That is bananas. That's bananas. Tegan, congratulations. $10,000 worth of value in Cape Coral. Keep it going. I want to add a 0 to that. All right. Oh, Olivia. Olivia only?
The brain breaker
I see
right
you.
there.
Hey, I made my first only $7,300. $7,300. That is absolutely incredible. Listen, that is the first one is the most important one. That's the one that most of you prove to everybody else that you can do this, but more importantly, you prove it to yourself. You prove it that through your actions, your efforts, your talents, your skills, your ability to communicate, that you can, out of thin air, out of the ether, provide value and get $7,300. Yes, here we go.
You're getting your workout in with that walk.
Good. I don't know if I should come back yet or not. Congratulations, Olivia. That is absolutely incredible. Let's add a 0. Let's add a 0 to that. Josh, what formula should I use to get my max allowable offer if I know I'm going to sell to a hedge fund? That is great, Josh. So a couple different things. I mean, we've talked about it, so definitely go back to the episode when you get a chance. Not now. Stick with us. Get the energy of this live show. But we did a breakdown with Jeremy, my disposition manager, a few weeks ago on hedge funds and how to work with them. But basically, they have a limit to the amount of repair budget that they want to put into these properties. Typically, it's around $25,000. It depends on the market, obviously, but usually it's about $25,000. So these properties are pretty clean. All right, so they have to be pretty clean. They have to fit into the buy box of what they're looking for. And so that means that it has to hit a certain age of home. It has to be in a certain area. Sometimes it's by school district. But basically, you put it out there, and you can literally send them the address, Josh, and they will give you their buy price. That's what we do. They'll give you the buy price, and then you can negotiate with them way up. You know, if they come at you with you know, a price that you don't think is right, then you could say, well, you know, I need 10 grand more, I need 15 grand more. Will that work? They'll rerun it, and most of the time it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time it works. So they'll actually, when you go and you make connections with their real estate agents, that's really who you're building the relationship with, is the real estate agent. Once you go through that, they'll and you say, hey, listen, I'm locking up this deal. What will you guys give me for it? And they'll give you they'll run their numbers, brother. So that's the great thing about it. And it's silly, but most of the time, Josh, I will say they don't want you to assign it. They'll put a cap on it. We just did one. Their cap was $25,000, which is fine. It was kind of a tight deal for us anyway, but they allowed us to assign it, which is great. So we don't have to take on the costs of the title and escrow costs of closing on that deal ourselves, getting the title insurance, and you know, wiring the funds in and whatever else, because we fund our own deals. But a lot of people are getting transactional funding for these, or they're partnering or whatever else, so it reduces their profits. And so just make sure that you put that into your calculations when you're offering it, when you're getting an offer to the property owner. Okay? Awesome. Xavier, what does it mean when a property is in an estate? Yeah, that's a great question, Xavier. An estate is basically people set up estates to protect wealth and to reduce liability. So if for some reason something happens to you, or you personally do something and somebody wants to sue you, they can go after you personally, but they can't go after your estate. Right? And your estate puts in rules on who's going to get all this stuff if I'm not around. Right? So people put in estates, put in a trust or an estate or whatever else. It's just a method to protect your wealth, give instructions on where it goes, and to reduce liability. It doesn't matter for us. Call them all. It could be in an estate, and you go, hey, listen, you ready to sell this thing? Yeah. I've got my rental properties in an estate because I don't want liability or whatever. This is my personal property. I need to sell this property. It's in an estate. I gotta sell this property and go somewhere else because I can't take care of that property. So for you, Xavier, rock and roll, brother. Just get after it. Also, what's the best? Texas Investor asks. Also, what's the best strategy to use when comping a property with 2 houses on one lot? How do you choose which house adds more value? This is a great one. Ref, do you ever run into this where you're buying a property that has 2 houses on it? There's usually a primary property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't necessarily combine. Usually, what I started doing, and this is years ago, you'll get a percentage of the value of the primary property and then attach it to that secondary.
Yeah.
So, calculate about another 50% of it or something whatnot. It's not apples to apples. Usually somebody gets a permit, they build like a little casita or something like that. That's how we factor that in. But you can't add it as a just regular straight up living square footage because it's not attached to that single property.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a guest house.
Yeah.
So is it 75, 80, 50%? Typically what I've heard from like a guest house is it's 50% of the price per square foot that you get in a primary house. But if it's like 2 legit houses, now we're talking something different, right? Texas Investor. Now we're talking cash flow. Now we're talking multifamily. Now we're talking, wait a second here. Okay, you're selling this property as 2 houses. Is the strategy somebody's going to live in one, rent out the other one? My parents have 2 houses on their lot. They live in one and they Airbnb the other one. Right? But the other one's not nearly as nice as their main house. It's nice and it's remodeled and it looks great and it's an Airbnb, but it's not like their main house. So when looking at that, typically what an appraiser will do is, okay, here's the price per square footage in the neighborhood for primary, and then half of that for the guest house. But that doesn't always shake out. If you're buying it as a investment property, look at the cash flow. What can you get for rent for both of those things? And can you make an offer based on that if you're going to sell to an investor that's not going to live there but is going to rent both of those out? Can you get $2,000 for this and $1,800 for this, and now it's $3,800, and you're using the 1% rule? It's $380,000, right? Or in your market, is it more rural? Do you have to go 2% rule, 1.5% rule? So there's a couple different strategies there, but for the most part, main house and then 50% price per square foot. But play around with it. Talk to an agent. Vasily, how do you comp a vacant lot in town? I love it. Make sure that it's in. Well, first of all, lots. It just depends on what it's zoned. Commercial is going to be more valuable than residential, right? Because there's way less supply of commercial. Industrial is different than commercial. Warehouse is different than single family. So let's just say that it's a single family in a subdivision in a neighborhood. What you want to look is for if a brand new house was built on that lot, what would that house sell for? And if there's no brand new houses that are built in that area, then you have to look at what's the highest that totally remodeled and flipped house sold for. And then you could probably add 10% because it's a new house. And then from there, let's just say that a brand new house is going to be $500,000. Typically, a builder is going to budget 20% for that lot. So it would be $100,000 would be the most that they would pay for that lot. They'd put it in their construction, build it, and sell for $500,000. So 20% is usually what it is. That don't hold. If you're in an area where the houses sell for $150,000 brand new, you got to buy that thing for like $2,000, right? Because construction costs are construction costs. So it's a sliding scale down. The lower the price, the bigger the lower percentage that you have to get that at, whether it be 5% or 8% or whatever else. Yeah, but the higher the price, 20% is typically where it goes to.
Well, and you find out what that price point is, and then you figure out your wholesale price.
Yeah.
So you take it away from that 20% price point.
Yeah. Tony, great question here. Brent, you mentioned before that areas like Southern California, you can wholesale at about ARV. How is it that so, and how would you comp? Is it only in SoCal or other big cities too? Yeah, it's a supply and demand thing, but it also, you know, if you've got a completely destroyed house, you're going to have to take into account the repair cost. You're going to. You know what I mean? You can get closer to the ARV just because there's supply and demand and people just want to live in that area, and anything that hits the market, people are buying. So what I would say is, Tony, look at what recently sold on the market. Look at the condition of those properties and match that up. If you see a property that's a fixer-upper or investor special or as is, and it went for basically retail, then that's pretty close to what you can sell it for. Just remember in there that most real estate investors are taking into account, if it's on the market, that they'll get 3% commission to add towards their closing costs and to, you know, to fixing up that property. So typically, if you see a property, let's just say it's $800,000 in SoCal and it needed a ton of work, and you have a similar property, take off 3% of that, because you're not going to be giving them a 3% commission. You take off $24,000 on that, and you're at, you know, $776,000 that you could probably sell that for. You should be able to sell it for. I mean, it's just like there's only so many places in the world that people can live. There's only so many places that people want to live. And there's more people, right? So if everybody wants to get into a neighborhood and nothing's for sale, push the value. It makes no sense. The comps will not support it. You won't even see it. Just throw it out there and see what the best. Test your buyer base. See what potential they see there, right? Maybe somebody just wants to buy a property in a really good area of town because they need the depreciation, because they're getting crushed by income taxes. Or they want to go in there and they want to turn this thing into a beautiful Airbnb and make 10 times the rent that they usually do, so the numbers make sense. That's what you get in these major markets. Airbnb buyers and people that just want to sink their money long term to hedge against inflation and to fight their income tax. Kaz, just skip Trace, my first Driving for Dollars list. Should I just follow TTP script when I call? Yes. Should I comp out before I call? No. Never, ever, ever, ever. Yeah, no. Do not comp it. And the rest of that is before I call to know where I'm at, or only wait till somebody is a lead first, then close in person. Yes. Make sure they want to sell. Make sure they want to sell before you start doing all your research. Now, listen, Kaz, if you want to get some reps in and you want to do some comping and you want to get better and understand what the valuations is, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to comp these 5 properties, and then I'm going to call this real estate agent buddy of mine, and I'm going to challenge him to see if we have the same valuations of this, and he can help, and we can help, and blah, blah, blah. Or I'm going to call and build some relationships with agents and see if they came up with the same numbers, and that's how I'm going to get better and better and better. Great. Just don't do that before you call. Don't do that, call first. Look at that. Listen, our business is a train. The engine of the train, the whole thing that moves this train and builds momentum is lead generation. The middle part is conversion. That's where you are taking those leads and getting some sort of agreement with them, some sort of commitment. And then exit strategy is the last part. Only 3 parts of the business: lead generation, conversion, and exit strategy. So don't let anything stop you from generating leads. Nothing. Listen, I've said this a lot of times, and I don't know if it really hits on in a lot of people's minds, but the dumbest people in this business make the most money because they're just taking action. They're just going. They're just cultivating their garden. Right? Work involves becoming. They're becoming a better real estate investor than everybody else because they put in the work, and they're not held back by paralysis by analysis, by perfectionism, by procrastination. Right? The 3 Ps. Boom. Nathan, how do I find the seller's sister's contact info? I have a lead, but she told me her sister's in charge of the property, but doesn't have contact info for her. Nathan, come on. You really think she doesn't have contact information for her sister? So you have a lead. She told you that the sister's in charge of the property. So have you skip traced the property? Have you seen who's on title? Is the sister on title? Is the sister that you're speaking with like not mentally there? Sometimes that happens. You do need to reach out to the sister. I would go and if you can go to the property and door knock the neighbors and see what's going on, that's helpful. Or you can go to AmericanTracers.com. They do a good job of kind of lineage. What's the other free one? There's a free one that you can get into. Not White Pages. It's like Been Verified or something.
Been Verified.
I think Been Verified has some of those family ones, or Ancestry.com or
Spokio. You pay for that one, but it's pretty good.
You know, one of those things. Yeah. Just kind of go down that, find that family tree and
Facebook. Facebook works.
Yeah, if you have the first and last name, yeah, go to social media and see if you can find them and DM them.
Look at the if you have a seller, if you find them, look at the seller's just friends in there.
Yeah.
We've done that before.
Love it. Alan, there he is, looking good. Hey, Brent, would I have to take off ARV if there's commercial property next to residential? It depends, Alan. It depends on the location of where that property is. It depends on... if it's a hip part of town that people want to be around that vibe, and it could be a great place for, a young couple to live, or a artist to live, or an Airbnb place, all those things factor in, Alan. So yeah, if it's a major commercial, if it's something that's like a car lot, yes. If it's something that's like a mechanic's, what would that even be? A mechanic garage? Thank you. Jeez. Then yes, I mean something that's constant traffic and it's there's people parking in front of your stuff. It will affect it for sure. Look at that, Alan. You look great in that picture. I look like a thumb with a smile.
And a really cool T-shirt.
Yeah, that's it. Kenneth, what do you think about adding 10% to ARV or 10% to the repair estimate? From Kenneth, Nicholas, John. What do you think about adding 10% to ARV? I'm not exactly sure what that question is. Do you know what he's getting at? I'm
assuming maybe trying to make a higher offer on what's already there and then see if it's justifiable. I wouldn't. If you come up with
I see. To put a better product out.
To better.
Okay,
better
Kenneth.
Price point on it.
A lot of people do. I would say if you have buyers that put out really awesome product and want to take that risk, great. But I would say 95% of your cash buyers are not the creative type. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to put these, and I've got a system, and I'm going to put this paint, and I'm going to put these cabinets, and I'm going to put these doorknobs, and boom, done. And they're not like, oh, I'm going to get this faucet, and it's made in Sweden, and it's wonderful, and it's going to be perfect, and it's going to be a Scandinavian floor plan, and it's going to be open with these, there's going to be glass everywhere, and it's this beautiful glass that protects and keeps all the heat in when in the winter and the cold out, or the cold in the summer. I mean, a lot of people aren't like architect engineers. If you're selling it to architect engineers, they will, yes. Everybody else, they're probably going to go to Home Depot or Lowe's or IKEA and put their stuff in. Yep. Andres, also, how much do you like to add or subtract for the offer price concerning +1 beds, baths, square footage, lot size? That's really interesting, Andres. So first of all, you want to look at you got to find comps.
Yeah.
It's not the only house that's built with one bathroom in that neighborhood. So you got to comp one bathroom with one bathroom. If you're looking at a 4-bedroom versus a 3-bedroom, it moves the needle, but not as much as you think. Bathrooms are way bigger. Bathrooms are everything. I mean, bathrooms are the plus or minus I mean, depending on the area, it could be a difference of 20,000 to 200,000, and I'm not joking. Do you guys see, like, have you ever seen like luxury houses and you're looking at it and it's like 7 bedrooms, 14 bathrooms, right? You ever see that and you're like, why does somebody need 14 bathrooms for? Entertainment, for people going, you know what I mean? Like, bathrooms are everything. Bedrooms don't really move the needle a tremendous amount because, bedrooms are mostly for, sleeping and whatever else. So, yeah, baths, just make sure that you are comparing them to that. I would say if you have a 3-bedroom versus a 4-bedroom, let's get into the weeds a little bit here, Andres. If you have a 3 versus a 4-bedroom, one, I'd see if that 3-bedroom has a den, which a lot of the new modern architecture does from like pretty much from 1990 on. A lot of these properties have dens, right, which can be converted or just used as a bedroom. If you've got the difference between 4 and 3 and there's no other sales, that's a 4-bedroom, you only have comparables of 3, add 10,000, add 20,000, depending on the area. Don't overthink it that much. But it's not that tremendous of a difference. It's weird. I mean, people will be like, yeah, I have 7 kids, but they can sleep in the same room together, but I need bathrooms, right? So I don't know that many people with 7 kids. 5. I know a bunch of people with 5 kids. It's crazy. Hey, Brent, how do I comp a single-family teardown that can be rebuilt as a small multifamily? Oh, that's fantastic, Josh. Great question. So now you're looking at, first of all, if it's a house and it's zoned on a multifamily, if you build a brand new, the highest and best use of that land, and you put in a multifamily, what is the rent that you're going to get from that? And then you got to work your numbers backwards, right? What is the cash flow that you're going to get from it? What's typically the loan that somebody's going to get on that is probably 80%. So what does that payment look like versus what they're getting in rent is what they're looking at. And remember, when you have rent, you got to take 40% off the top of rent. Let me tell this to everybody that is looking to build a rental portfolio. Whatever you see as rent, take 40% off. Okay? Boom. Management fees, repair costs, renovation costs, vacancy costs, all those things. If you want to be a real pro entrepreneur, you're not going, oh, okay, well, my payment on this is $1,100 and I can get $1,300 for rent. You will die. You will. That is the exact reason why 80% of all the deals that you and I do is from tired landlords. You want to know why they're tired? It's not from excess income. It's not from that. It's because they didn't make anything on these things. It's been a total headache. They literally have to drink like Pepto-Bismol to beat down and battle their heartburn just even thinking about these properties. And they're like, just take it off my hands. I don't want to deal with this, right? Do you realize that? Do you realize that like 80% is like comes from landlords? What happened? They all had stars in their eyes like you and I. They were all like, I'm going to build my wealth and do this. And some of them do a great job. Some of them actually build it up and do something. But the most people make the mistake of not realizing that 40% of the rent comes off the top to keep that property going, to keep that business running. Every property you have to look at is like a small business because that's essentially what it is. It's a stream of income. And most businesses, I mean, really great businesses thrive off of 25, 30% profit margin. 50% is fantastic. 60%, oh my gosh, that's incredible. You got 40% right off the top. They're great businesses, but it comes right off the top. Make sure that your debt and your payment is way less than what you're getting in rent. I'm telling you. And that's just break even at that. So, guys, if you're getting value, hit that like button. Hit it now. How many do we have? Seriously, how many likes do we have? 146. Let's get that to 200 right now. Hit that like. Let's expose this. The bigger audience, the more people we can bring in, the more squatting up. We could grab somebody that has a methodology, has a strategy for properties that you've never heard of. I bring them on here. Now you've got another tool in your toolbox. Listen to this. I got a text from Derek Jar, fantastic. He was the guy that I sold my first 3 deals to. Incredible investor in town, developer, luxury home builder, all this stuff. He's starting a business now where he is now connecting with hedge funds, where he'll go to property owners, say, hey, listen, if you're wanting to sell your house, you can sell your house and rent your own house back, and the hedge fund will let you stay there for whatever, as long as you want. So now you have all the money from your house. The hedge fund has their property that they want, and they already have a tenant in place. They don't have to do repairs off the bat. Strategies, levels to this game. Right? So what happens if you find somebody in your market that's like this? Could you sell properties to them at full value with homeowners that want to live in that property? I don't want to sell the property. I want the money, but I have nowhere to live. There's no properties out there. What if you lived in your same house? Right? And you're just paying rent on it, and you get all your money. Come on, players. Right? See? Everybody in here is like, oh, wow, that's a fantastic idea. That's a great idea. Holy cow, right? This is next level stuff. But I'll bring him in. I'll get Derek in here. Hi, Brent. What stage of acquiring process should we begin comping? Before speaking with the seller or after? Matt, do we have the 3 steps broken down? I know that it's in the presentation that you and I put together for the speech. Do we have it where it's like lead generation, conversion, and dispo? If not, I can write it on the board. Okay. It is in the middle part. It's in the conversion part. It's in your pre-qualifying part. Okay, that's when you realize and figure out if this is somebody that's going to do business with you at a price that makes sense. So remember, when you're having a conversation, any conversation that you're having with a property owner, build the rapport, take some time, but remember, there's 4 things that you're trying to get out of every single conversation. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. All right, you're trying to pull those things out, and if they won't give you something, then you can take a shot across the bow with that 66%, 50%, or 25% that we talked about before. You got it? We're working on it here, Teresa, just to give you a visual here, because I think that'll help. But you can take a shot across the bow if you think that they're not really serious at 66% of Zillow, 50% or 25%. But when you're pre-qualifying and you're doing your lead, so there's 3 parts to the conversion. Pre-qualifying, that's your due diligence. That's the condition, timeline, motivation, price. That's when you're looking at what's the highest and best use of this property. And then the second part of that is lead follow-up. You're constantly following up to try to shorten the timeline. And the third part of conversion is your actual offer presentation, whether it's in person or on the phone. So it's that middle part here. We're working on getting the graphic up, and we'll put it up in 30 seconds. And we'll do this one. Izzy, $20K on an inbound lead, and it was my first deal. Inbound, Izzy, do me a favor. Let me know what strategy you used to get that inbound. Was it a referral? Was it direct mail? Was it internet? Was it a bandit sign? What was it to get you that inbound lead? Congratulations, $20,000. Here we go. Woo! Izzy, you broke the bell. No, I got it. That is awesome. That is awesome. I'll tell you what, $20,000. Yeah, we just got to pinch this thing closed. Yeah. Put that up, please. Yep. There you go. Lead generation, right? There's 3 parts. Guys, this is the whole business. I am telling you, if you want a business plan, a business model, here's where it's at. If you want to know who to hire and when to hire and how to hire and all these things, these are the roles and these are the things that they'll be responsible for. But lead generation is very simple. It comes down to 3 parts. Number 1, you buy the leads. It's called marketing. It's called inbound marketing. You get people to call you. Number 2 is referrals, right? You build a network. You build a center of influence. You build people that are going to refer you deals, whether it's other wholesalers, whether it's investors, whether it's your neighbors or your family or real estate agents, referrals, right? Number 3 is you go out there and earn it. You be proactive. 2 ways, door knock or pick up the phone. Door knock or pick up the phone. That's how you go and earn it. Marketing's very expensive. Referrals take time. You want to have fast profits. If you want to have profits as soon as possible, let's say it that way, it's from being proactive. So be proactive and go after those deals. The conversion is pre-qualified, lead follow-up, offer presentation. Boom. There you go. Your pre-qualifying part is your due diligence. That's where you're doing your comping. Okay? So you've got your lead, the lead generation. It's in there. It's somebody that has a timeline and they're going to sell. And then the third part of this business is exit strategy. What are you going to do? There's only 3 exit strategies with the deals that you have. Buy and hold, flip it, or wholesale it. You're going to assign your rights to somebody else, and they're going to have that property. There's only 3. Are you going to add it to your portfolio? All of that stuff is creative finance. All of that is buying it and whatever, burring it, doing Airbnbs, doing all that stuff is all about holding on to properties. But remember this, wholesaling is not investing. Okay? Wholesaling is not investing. Investing is buying and holding properties. Right? It's taking ownership. You could make an argument that flipping really isn't real estate investing. You know what I mean? It kind of is. It's flipping is kind of the day trading of real estate, right? You're looking to buy something low and sell high, right? Assignments, kind of the same thing. You're looking for opportunities, but really you're just the marketing engine for the real estate investing industry. By the way, it's wonderful. And it's super, super lucrative. And it's super profitable. Raymond asks, I have my first appointment on Friday in New Orleans. Looking to squat up. Raymond, are you looking for somebody to go with you on that appointment that has experience? If so, make sure that you say that. And anybody in New Orleans, not New Orleans, New Orleans. If you're in New Orleans, then make sure that you squad up. First appointment. I'm ringing the bell for that. I love it. Where is it? Oh, we fixed it. Here it is. Love it. Congratulations, Raymond. Get that locked up. Stop messing around. Kip Stevens, PropStream or Batch you recommend for overall best for your bang for your buck? Batch.
I like that logo.
Batchleads.io. Use the coupon code TTP. You get like 5,000 free addresses. So, Batchleads.io. Listen, I'm in Batch's office. I know Batch. I've been busting their balls for years about Batch Leads and constantly improving it. And that whole CAN-I thing that I opened up this training with, constant never-ending improvement, they got it. They got it. And PropStream is corporate. They were bought by Stewart Title, who's probably a subsidiary of Fidelity, right? Something like that. You can pull that on that string if you want, but who wants to waste their time? So, run into this issue on PropStream and Batch Leads sometimes. The data shows year built NA. Is there any other way to see the year built? It's tough, Christopher. If it's not showing, you can go to the tax assessor site in your market. Just go to your county tax assessor site. It's the property taxes, right? So, yeah, they should have it on there. If not, just talk to the owner. I am looking everywhere, Bill, and I cannot find when this property was built. I've looked at like 17 different sites. I've looked at the tax assessor. I have no idea. Do you know when this house was built? Yeah, the interesting thing about this was it was actually recorded wrong and blah, 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 and they give you the whole backstory. But the owner will know, right? So, yeah, usually it's just because it's not, yeah. Noah, Brent, having a hard time going from consuming content to taking action. Good. Okay, Noah, here's your goal. I want you to call one person today. That's it. That could be a Driving for Dollars lead. not only that, let me rephrase, Noah. I want you to speak to somebody today, okay? I want you to screw it all up. I want you to just download the script, ttpinsider.com. Make sure you download the script. It's free. It's there. So you know how to open it up. But even if you didn't, just talk to one person. And then tomorrow talk to 2. And then try to get it to 5 by Friday, right? So 1, 2, 5. And just understand there's no monsters out there, right? It's all the stuff that we put in our own brain. So just go and just call them and bring enthusiasm and bring confidence and bring that certainty and likability. And just use your tone and just call them like they're your neighbor. You can literally say, I am so nervous to talk to you right now. You're the second person I've ever talked to about real estate. I think I can do a really great job, but I'm really nervous, and I wanted to see if you would consider an offer on your property. For real. I had an interview yesterday. I had a podcast interview with Cody Sperber, clever investor, multi-millionaire, 1,000 wholesale deals, a ton of deals, does luxury development, does Airbnb, does the whole thing, right? Just incredibly deep in his knowledge and experience. Anyway, he went 9 months, no deals. I mean, it was early 2000s, so he didn't have the advantage of skip tracing and getting the numbers. He was door knocking, doing that type of thing. But 9 months, no deals. The first deal he did, he went in and he talked to his mentor. And his mentor says, go in there and be yourself. Be authentic and have enthusiasm. That's what he said. He said 2 things. Be authentic and have enthusiasm. We say it a little bit different. We say have certainty and likability. Same thing, just different name, different skin, right? He went in there and literally talked to the guy. The guy had been approached by like 15 different investors. And he's like, I don't know. My mentor told me to come in and just tell you that, I'm excited about this business. I think I could be really good at this business, but I've never done a deal. And I know that I can help you out, and I do everything I can to help you out. But I just want you to know I don't have a lot of experience. And if you want me to, refer you to somebody that has a bunch of experience that I know is good, I can do that. And the guy's like, come in, come talk to me. I'm making dinner, makes him dinner, gives him spaghetti, makes the whole thing. And he goes, do you have the paperwork for this deal after dinner? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, whatever. I want to work with you. Signs it. First deal, $40,000. $40,000 back in the early 2000s. That's like, it's like 100,000 now, right? First deal. I'm just telling you, like, take the action. Just do it. Just do it. If you stay in your brain, you're limiting your growth. And I say you because it's about you. It's selfish to not go share yourself to the world. So be brave. You got this. Have 1 conversation today, 2 tomorrow, 5 Friday. Build it up. Confidence comes with reps. Okay? Shyla, Brent. So I'm literally watching this and cold calling. Yeah, I'm in Phoenix. Yes. I feel I get less people answering the phone in the mornings than evenings. Should I leave messages or continue to move on? I wouldn't leave messages. The only reason why is when they call back, you're kind of scrambling to understand what property they own and who they are and the whole thing. And so it gets a little bit kind of unprofessional, and people kind of are like, wait, do they have their act together or not? So, but listen, Charlotte, test it. You know what I mean? Like, leave 10 voicemails today and see what the response is coming back and see if there's any opportunities there. But I love it. Get a deal. Shelly, I'm telling you, you get a deal, you post it on here, you and me, we're going to be over there in that room there doing a podcast when that happens, because it's not an if, it's a when. So keep going and make sure that you're loud and share your success with us, okay? Ben, I got my first deal under contract after 9 months of learning and working towards getting a deal. We'll close in a month or less. Emojis with the cool guy glasses. I love it. Here we go. Come on. Boom. 9 months, guys. I literally have people reach out to me and say, I haven't gotten a deal. I have been calling for 6 days. I have been calling Everybody. I don't have a deal yet. Right. I am telling you, the best real estate investors I know go 6 months. Takes them 6 months. Linda, I'm 6 months in and no deal. Keep it going. Remember, go back. Perspective. It's right there. Perspective. Who were you 6 months ago and who are you now? Who do you want to be like? What would somebody that is in the position that you want to do in this situation? Give up? Change strategies? Increase skills? Talk to more people? Put more things in? Find more time for this business? Listen, if you only have an hour, it's going to take longer. Like I said, if somebody has 4 hours, they're going to be 4 times faster than you at the deal. If you have 20 hours, they're going to be 20 times faster. So where is the priority? Make it go. Sense of urgency, sense of urgency, sense of urgency. And you could do this with a lot of excitement and energy every single day. And then when it does crack, woo! Linda, I'm telling you, 5 years from now, you're going to be thinking of your first 6 months and you're going to be on a podcast or whatever. You're going to be teaching and at a meetup or something. And people are going to be like, how'd you get past your first 6 months? You're going to get questions like that. Put it in your brain, right? Perseverance. Have that stature. Have that tall stature that has confidence in being a professional. Raph, you want to take this?
If I submit an offer and it gets accepted, is the next step a normal A to B contract? And if I know I have a buyer, would it be best to assign or option my end buyer? That's going to be a yes. So if you have an offer, it gets accepted, you need a signature on that A to B side. Get it done. It's one of the most important things, actually, if not the most important thing, right? Get a signature on that contract. And yeah, it depends on the spread of the deal. If it's a huge deal, you want to take it down, you want to double close on it or double escrow it. But if not, an assignment works. I mean, we've done assignments where you go up to $25,000 on an assignment fee.
That's right.
Yeah. So there's a couple of different ways to exit those deals. Assignment always works. If it's, $20K or less, we should go assignment route.
Love it. Ajit.
And congratulations on that, by the way.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Can I market a wholesale contract without property pictures? Seller's sick and we can't get in there for pictures, absentee owner. All depends on price, right? It all depends on price. Yep. So a couple different things. If they're an absentee owner and they're sick, then I would say I would offer to, hey, listen, I work with a fantastic locksmith. They can get me into the property to take it out. I just want to, I'll just send you something, an email, or you can literally put together a DocuSign that just says that they give permission to get access to the property, right? Just so that there's nothing goofy going on if you want to really be high level. But if it's absentee and they're sick and they can't get over there, be like, listen, I work with people all the time that it's inconvenient for them to go. What we typically do is I just work with my great locksmith. We get into the property, take a look, I take some pictures, and then I get you an offer. And then we lock it up, secure it all, take pictures of all the locks, or video of all the locks being closed and windows closed and whatever. And then we're good. So there's ways around that. Yeah. If that's, Brent, would love to hear your opinion on how to play this lead. Not owner occupied. Okay. Owner did full rehab. Wants to sell it fast and doesn't want to list it. He wants retail value for it. Advise. A couple different things, Hector. Why does he want to sell? Why does he want to sell? I mean, he just rehabbed this whole property and he doesn't want to list it. I feel like he probably does want to list it. He probably just wants to see if you'll give him full market value for it and not have to pay 6% to an agent. So he might be testing you there. There's a couple different ways, Hector. You can say, okay, I can give you your price, but I got to do it in payments. I got to do it in payments. I got to give it to you over time. Is that something you'd be open to? Well, how long? How long would you be comfortable with? What's the longest you'd be comfortable with me making payments to you every single month, right? So you could do that, or you can refer them to a really great agent that's going to list it, because somebody's going to list it probably anyway, right? Raf, what would you do?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, it's either if they really want to go off route and not list the property, you could go for terms and something like this if they're asking for retail. But it's a long shot, really. Like, if somebody wants retail, more than likely they're just trying to get away from that percentage fee that they're gonna have to pay up front, which is 6 to 8% somewhere in there, and get the most for it. But it's not a deal for us.
What I would also look at, Hector, is I would go on to Zillow, and I would see what is available in that neighborhood. What is available in that block? Like, if you were to look at the main streets and just look and keep all the properties that are there, and look at what's available. If there's nothing available and it's in beautiful condition and it's a popular area, do you have Airbnb buyers? Do you have hedge fund buyers? It's either somebody that has a different strategy for cash flow to get more out of that property, which is typically a short-term rental strategy, or it's a hedge fund that needs to place money, or it's a buyer that just wants to buy in that area because they need to plant the money. So you can, if there's nothing available, you can lock it up and just say, listen, this is retail. I don't buy properties retail, but I can see if the rest of the world wants to, or the rest of my network wants to. And it's 50-50, to be honest with you. But if I, put it under contract, I can, get to work with you and see if there's a good exit strategy. But I can't really start working on my exit strategy unless we have a commitment, right? So those are probably the only, those are the best strategies for you. Airbnb, some sort of seller financing, hedge fund, or referred to an agent. Great. How much, Coach Kenny, how much should you budget to market as a beginner? It just depends, Coach. When you are, it depends on how much you want to throw at this. Do you want people to call you? Then you need marketing. You're going to need minimum for marketing in a low market, $5,000. In a major market, $15,000 a month. That's it. If you don't have that budget, and you're in a small market or a major market, then skip trace and call them. You're going to have to trade time for money. You are. You're going to have to trade effort you're going to have to be proactive. You're going to have to go through a lot more rejection than you would if people are calling you. Okay? So, if that's the case, a dialer is going to run you about $100 to $120. Skip tracing for 1,000 addresses is about $120. And, Deal Machine, which I highly suggest, dealmachine.com, use the TTP code. It's the biggest discount, is, what is it, $60 or $50 with the coupon? $50? I always upset. Don't quote me on that. If they change their price, don't tell them I told you the price. If they just look at their website. All right. It won't work. They're like, Brent, when people tell us that you told them a price, we tell them that you're wrong. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Anyway, you get $10 off. It's the biggest discount, whatever their current pricing is. Okay, so Deal Machine. So all in, you should be under $500 a month. Easy. And that's if you're really hustling. If you're really skipped, the biggest cost is typically, biggest reoccurring cost is typically going to be your skip tracing, and that's 12 to 14 cents an address.
And that, just to recap on that, you're talking about 1,000 records, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's 12 cents or 14 cents, it's 120, 140. Yeah. But not all of those will come back with numbers. Some of them just don't have numbers attached to them, and you're only going to pay for results. Batchskiptracing.com. Longhorn team. Wholesale is the body of the Swiss. That's right. I love it. Yes. Go back to that real quick. It is the body. Wholesaling is the body of the Swiss Army knife. All the other things and gadgets and strategies and levels to this game all start with finding a lead. Yeah. That's the body of the Swiss Army knife. I love the analogy. That's fantastic. And it holds everything together. That's right. What's the best way to get in front of a hedge fund? Post to your social media and to investor groups and just say, I've got deals for hedge funds. Who knows somebody that's working with hedge funds to buy real estate? And you'll get some response. It's typically a real estate agent. Some of them have websites, which is awesome, that you can just upload to. Not many. And don't ask me I would have to ask Jeremy. And really, I think there's only one or two that he's really discovered, and it's kind of glitchy, to be honest. But for the most part, it's real estate agents that kind of filter out the deals. Same question. Yeah. So the best way to find them is literally just be loud on social media and ask a bunch of people. And then when you're at RIAs, ask a bunch of people. Because those agents, the agents that work for the hedge funds are floating around those all day long. And you'll notice because they got a big, they've got, they've got like a magnet attached to them. Everybody's around them. They're like, wait, you buy what? Oh, you're a hedge fund? Oh, great. Can I get your card? Can I, so one, meetup groups, two, social media, and that should get you where, and then just ask everybody. Referrals. The other way that you could do it, and it's on this video, you can find them in PropStream, is to filter by the amount of properties bought this year, and then you do a little bit of research to put that address in, find who the buyer's agent was for those deals, for the properties that, 20 properties minimum, 50 properties minimum, you find it. So make sure that you check out that as well, because you can find it right on PropStream.
Talk to your title reps, not the escrow
Title reps,
officers,
too.
but the title, the
Yes.
marketing reps.
Yes.
Those people
Love
are
it.
just connected everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, they have the Rolodex of
Yep.
whatever county you're in. Yeah, talk to them too. Yeah.
That's right. Corey, Brent, what's your thoughts on accepting bids from cash buyers? Do you like the open house feeding frenzy method, or do you sell it to the first buyer who commits to your suggested price? Great question. Really great question. We don't do the open house method. It gets too crazy here in Phoenix. It really does. I mean, it gets really, really crazy. And in our market, Corey, and in a lot of markets, most of the buyers buy sight unseen when you send out the pictures. So they'll say, I want it, I want it, I want it, whatever. And the ones that want to see it, you go, listen, I understand you want to see it. I would too, but I've got a buyer that wants to buy it sight unseen. Do you want to put a bid in anyway? And if you have somebody that wants to buy it sight unseen, right? But if you don't, then set up a time. Set up a time that you can go in there and just say, hey, listen, from 1 to 3, come on by and check out this property. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a block there. So I guess that's an open house type of thing. But for the most part, you can sell a lot of these deals sight unseen. Primal Eskimo, great to see you, brother. Do we call the most recent list on public records for probates? Yeah. Probates are ticking time. I mean, it's there is a clock on them, right? So you want to start building that relationship. It is one of those things. Do I lock it up early in the process or late in the process? Lock it up as soon as you can, but just know that you need to really, really build a relationship, because they are going to get 1,000 other offers by the time you get to the closing table. So typically what we do is we wait until they're getting closer to actually getting the right to sell that property, until they get the ownership, and then we'll start negotiating with them. And that we kind of prime our sellers to work that way. As in, I wouldn't make a decision. Just to give you advice, working with a lot of people that are going through the probate process, you're going to get a lot of offers being thrown at you, a lot of opportunities to list it or to buy it or whatever else. What I would say is wait until the last, until you're about 30 days out from ownership, and then start making those decisions, because you never know what's going to happen in the next few months in this market. Duncan. Just got my first deal as well. Only $2K, but it's proof of concept on Market Lead. Duncan, come on, brother. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Now, listen, just like everybody else, Duncan, I want to add a 0 to that, but 2,000, I'm telling you, 2,000, you get that first check from your efforts in the real estate industry. It is a match that is lighting this whole thing up. It's a spark, baby. Now just fuel that fire. Pour gasoline on it. Keep doing more. Like, let's go. Let's do this thing. That is awesome. Timothy, finishing up my first burr with $2K month cash flow and $75K equity. And I just started my first cold calling campaign yesterday to start my wholesaling business. Timothy, congratulations. $2K a month in cash flow, $75K in equity. Look at this guy, Timothy. Phenomenal. Phenomenal, Timothy.
Let's go.
Direct to seller, get those deals, build that portfolio, but focus, right? If you're gonna build your wholesaling business, it's right here. Ugly houses, big checks. Look for those ugly houses, get the income, okay? Build that bank account high. Now you can cherry pick, but if you start cherry picking, Timothy, and you're trying to do wholesale, it's going to take you 2, 3, 4, 10 times longer because you're going to be constantly changing up where your brain power is going, right? So, awesome. Just locked up my first deal on Stark, Florida, in contact with a few buyers, looking like a 11.5K assignment fee from Kenneth, Nicholas, John. Congratulations. Get it sold. Get it sold today, Kenneth. 11.5. I want you back on tomorrow if you're available for our Millionaire Before 30 show. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Andrew Abernathy, the name, says it all. Millionaire before he was 20. Started business as a young man. You won't believe his story. It's going to blow your face off. But congratulations, Kenneth. Here you go. Anyway, if you can join us tomorrow, Kenneth, let us know that you got that deal sold. If not, join us Wednesday. All right? Awesome. Next Wednesday.
And still let us know that you got that.
And see, that's what I want to know. Yeah. I want to know that he got it sold. Yes, Brent, you're a sexy beast. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you for the mentorship. Ring that bell, baby. You got it.
Boom.
I think that's probably my wife in disguise. PBG Fitness, is cherry picking meaning daisy chaining? No, cherry pick, what I mean is you take deals off the board. You cherry pick the best deals that you want to keep. That's what I mean by cherry picking.
You select
right?
it, yeah.
These are slam dunks. Think about LeBron in his whole game this year. He just waits down on the offensive side of the board, and people throw him the ball, and he just dunks. That's called cherry picking. You want that easy baskets. You want properties that you're not really struggling to be like, do I really want to keep this? It's got to be like, oh, my gosh. I am so fortunate to keep this in there. Mr. C, for the last question. Woo! Can I skip trace cash buyers from PropStream and batch leads? Yes, I'd use batch leads. Batch leads is batch skip tracing. They have the biggest database. They spend the most money in their data. It's not even close. Batch leads. Come on up, everybody. Get over here. Let's go. Guys, cultivate your garden. It's the fourth gift that we got from God. Cultivate your garden. Hit that like button, subscribe, get notified. Rafael Cortez, Aaron, Matt, and of course, Judge Alejandra.
Oh.
Dun dun dun.
Also
known
as a lady from...
That's it. Remember, guys, join us tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Millionaire Before 30. Andrew Abernathy. It's going to be absolutely bananas. And remember, 3 rules, right? Keep your house clean. Physically and this house, right? Protect your health. It's the biggest ROI that you will ever get is exercising and protecting your health. It's the biggest ROI, right? And increase your value to the world, and you're going to live an unbelievable life, all right? I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.